much of my work, um, at least the themes that I strive for, are personal. And if you look at much of my work, it does have a narrative to it. And I think I owe a lot of that to several, well, mostly a couple things. One is Sister Wendy Beckett. Are you familiar with Sister Wendy Beckett?
No.
She okay. Oh, you have to know Sister Wendy Beckett. She she was a phenomenal art historian, a nun, and
Oh,
she had a show on the BBC back in the it was either maybe it was the early '90s, and I remember being pretty young and and seeing her videos, and she would go to the Norton Simon here in Pasadena, close to me, and she would visit many phenomenal works around the world in Italy and France, and so she would talk about the artists, but also the works themselves, and there was such an amazing insight. And at a time where I was wondering how an artist paints that, how did that artist paint that? How did she create this phenomenal piece of work? Well, for her, it was why did they paint that? And so she gave me that insight as to what was going on in their personal lives. Whether they were losing children to some kind of fever epidemic, whatever it might be, or and there was, you would look at a still life, which I love to paint, and and there was such a deep personal narrative in some of these works because it was a locket that belonged to so and so, and it was just phenomenal, and the way she describes everything. So if you get a chance, you have to see Sister Wendy. You got to see her videos. She's a no holds barred kind of nun, and she was just a treasure. And so, yeah, if you haven't seen Sister Wendy, absolutely. So I after seeing her videos, I remember, whoa, what is do I that I want to paint? What is it? What stories do I have to tell? And being a kid that grew up, in Sun Valley, and so, I started thinking about, you know, all my detours and all this, things that may have happened in my life. So how can I interpret that in my paintings? And so I found a zen in that. I found that because my work can be very time consuming, I felt that I needed to have something that I really was attached to, especially if I'm really spending, 100 hours easy on a painting. And went through my trials and tribulations with mediums and thinking that, oh, maybe this is just too hokey or whatever it is. But when I you know accepted who I was and what I wanted to say, then it all kind of balanced itself out. So um, yeah, I just felt that maybe my stories weren't as mundane as I thought maybe they were, and maybe I can tell a story that connects to one person, and even if it doesn't connect to anybody, it was very personal to me, and so it was almost meditative, and so for me, it was painting is healing, and it made me feel really good. I think that's when I feel best is when I'm actually producing.